Hey guys, my name is Desmond Brown, and I'm here today to teach you guys how to take a headshot and how to make all of your headshots look more professional for your clients. That way, if this is something that you want to niche down and become a solely headshot photographer, you can do that. Just some quick background about me. I am the head photographer at 27 Ink Photography. We've been around for about 10 years. We've been around for 7 years professionally. Headshots is one of the three things that we specialize and one of the three things that we love to do and present to our clients because we love how it helps and affects them. What is a headshot? So a headshot is really simple. It is a photo that typically starts about a foot above a person's head and stops either at the mid chest of their point or at their neck. Headshots are primarily used introductionally for people to get to know one another. There are a lot of times where a headshot is the first thing that someone sees about you before meeting you, before learning your name, and it's really important to make sure that it looks professional and that it puts their best foot forward. A headshot is like a haircut. You can always tell when you're in need of a new one because your old one no longer represents who you are. So headshots can be done either outdoors or indoors. So we're about to take a look at two one light setups that were done outdoors for headshots and the photos that were produced from them. Okay guys, so for this shoot, as I said, this is going to be a one light setup. I have one light on a C-stand with sandbags and a modifier, mainly because it was windy this day. I'm going to have the subject sit on top of the rim of the fountain, and then we're going to take images just like this one that's up and coming. So this was shot with a Canon RP with 85mm, shutter speed 160, aperture 5, ISO 50, and the power of the flash was 1.5. Directly following up, this is the same exact setup, but instead of being at a fountain, we are actually on campus. So I'm going to be able to take a photo of the person, and then I'm going to have one of their main campus buildings in the background as a highlight feature. So in just a second, we're going to go through a couple photos just so you can see. All of the settings here are the same as the one previously, and we're going to go over the results in a moment. And then here's some BTS. I did end up using a reflector to help get rid of some of those shadows for her, but as you can see, subjects in focus with their main automata building in the background, breaking the whole photo all together. As you can see, they are really easy to do. All it took was one light in the right background. One background was the college campus for the alumni and the educators. Another background was a water fountain for someone who wanted a more enthusiastic. Of course, you can't take headshots without having the proper equipment. So we're going to go over some of our recommended basic equipment that you're going to need in order for you to actually start taking headshots right out the gates. So first things first, you're going to need a camera with interchangeable lenses. Now you can do it with a simple point and shoot. However, it'll look so much better and it'll provide much higher quality if you're using something like this. Now, doesn't matter the brand, it matters the focal length though. So if you're brand new, you're just starting, I would recommend getting a 50mm lens because it's going to be the cheapest and it's going to be in your budget. If you've been in the field for a little bit longer, or if you have a wider budget, I would go with an 85mm lens. That's going to give you the most bang for your buck. It's going to look the best when you're taking your photos and you're taking your headshots, okay? Now, moving from the camera, you are going to need to get yourself a strobe. Doesn't matter the brand again, as long as it connects to your camera and it flashes and you can adjust the power. Strobe with a light stand to put it on and a modifier to go onto it. That's all that you're going to need for a headshot. All you do is set up the strobe, make sure that it is tilted towards your client, stand it far enough back so that you can get head to chest and the photo, and snap away, right? Bam, you took your first headshot. Now, let's refine it and make it even better. All right, when shooting a headshot, I always recommend these settings for your camera And you should always start here and then adjust as need be depending on where you are. Now, this is going to vary. If you're outside, there's going to be a lot more adjustments needed than if you're in studio. If you're outside, you have to adjust for a lot of things. Sunlight, reflections, glare in people's glasses. It's a lot. But when you're in studio, all you have to do is move a light one way, adjust the light here, and then it's all going to be set. So 2 separate things. For in studio, start at F5 for your f-stop. Start at 125 for your shutter speed. And then start at 100 for your ISO. Alright guys, so now we're going to go over some of equipment that I recommend for when you're doing headshots. Now we're going to start off with the most basic that you're going to need, and then we're going to go more advanced as we can. Okay? First, you're going to need a camera with interchangeable lens. It's going to make your life a lot easier, and it's going to give you the best professional looking photos you can do. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't use a camera that you have that doesn't have an interchangeable lens. That just means you're going to be limited on how many things you can adjust. Most point and shoot cameras don't have a manual mode, so you can't fine tune things in order to get consistent results when doing multiple headshots. From there, you're going to grab a strobe. Does not matter the brand, doesn't matter how strong it can get. All that matters is it comes with a trigger so that you can set it up on a light stand with a modifier attached to it aimed at your subject. As long as you're able to have that, then you can play around, you can get the results that you need. So the basic equipment that you need for taking headshots are a camera with an interchangeable lens, a strobe with a light stand, and a modifier. Those are all the things that you need, aside from, of course, your SD card, your camera editing software, things like that, for you to just physically go take a headshot. Camera, lens, light stand, modifier. That's it. Once you have that, you're ready to go and ready to start. All that means that you can only do outdoor headshots. I would not recommend doing indoor session headshots with just one light, and we'll go over that later on in this course. Alright, so now I'm going to show you some examples of a 3 and a 4 light setup while in studio. When you're booking a studio to shoot headshots at, make sure you take a tour of it, make sure you get to understand all of the equipment that they have. A lot of studios come with their own lights, so that's one less thing that you have to worry about when booking a session. Now, all you have to do is make sure that they have these certain types of equipment on hand for you to take your headshot session. 1, a chair for your person to sit on. 2, a clamshell reflector. That's going to help remove any shadows from underneath of the person's eyes and it removes raccoon eyes. A overhead light, or a light that you can adjust so that it's overhead coming down, and then either 1 hair light or 2 hair lights that are going to be behind the subject pointing straight towards them. Now, I'm going to have some examples flowing on the screen in just a second, but it's just going to basically show you what my setup is. And if you're shooting on a white background, you might even go to 5 lights, but that's only because you're going to have 1 light pointed directly at the background to get the whitest white. Just because it looks white in person doesn't mean that in camera and in post it's going to look white as well. Okay guys, so this is a 2 light headshot setup with the clamshell helping get rid of some of the shadows within his eyes. As you can see, I have a light above as well as a hair light pointed directly behind him, and this is zoomed out. Now, I'm about to redo this entire set because this next headshot session is going to be done on a black background. As you can see, I'm just going to move all of the lights out the way, bring up the brown background, and bring down the black one. One of the reasons why I like having a studio and shooting in studio is because you have different options on the colors for your backdrops for your headshots. A headshot is typically either going to be on a blue, black, or white backdrop. Now, you can get away with using gray for some headshots, but those 3 are the standard colors and look the most professional. As you can see, I have a light directly above head. I have the clamshell. I just put the seat right behind the clamshell, and right now I'm setting up the 2 hair lights in the back. And once that is all set up, then I'm ready to go for this type of headshot. Of course, I'm going to do test shots just to make sure I get the lighting right, but this is all set for if I'm using a black or darker backdrop. Now, if I'm using a lighter backdrop, it's going to be a little bit different. So let's go ahead and swap to that. So now, as you can see, I basically have the same setup. The only difference is I now have one light directly pointed towards the white wall. Again, because in post, it will not come out as white. There'll be some reflections from the brown ceiling or the brown wall, brick wall to the side of it, but eventually the white will start to change colors. So you want to get it as pure white as you can in camera, because that saves you a lot of time on the back end for editing. I cannot stress you enough about how much time you're going to save not having to go back over and re-whiten your walls. Alright guys, so right now we are going to look at a couple of headshots and we're going to basically show some do's and don'ts and actually how to frame everything up. Okay? So looking at this first image, technically this is a perfectly good headshot. It has top of her head down to the middle of her chest, but it's a couple of things wrong. Number one, she's not looking at the camera. Number two, she looks flat. Just in general, there's no angles, no dimension, there's no nothing. So this could be a headshot, but it wouldn't be a great headshot to be able to use. When we move on to the second photo, now this will be an amazing headshot, but here's a few things that's wrong with it. Number one, there's too much of her in the actual photo. A headshot primarily would cut off somewhere in the middle of her chest or right below her chest. This has all the way down to the middle of her stomach, meaning this would be more of a portrait than a headshot. But that's only in technical terms. This could still be used as a great headshot, but if we're going by strict definitions, this wouldn't consider. Moving on to our third photo. Again, because of how much of her is in the photo, it wouldn't be considered a headshot, as well as the fact that it's cutting off a tip or part of her top of her head. Now, if we were to crop in, then this could be used as one. However, because of how she's positioned and how the light's hitting her, it wouldn't be a great headshot. Now, this one would be a 10 out of 10. She's correctly lit. There's just enough of her where you can crop in slightly and it would be a perfect headshot. She doesn't look flat. She's angled one way, face another. This would be a great use of a headshot. Now, this would be a headshot to a T. Top of the head, middle of the chest, directly looking at the person. This gives emotion and it makes the user want to look and look around the photo and get an idea of who this person is. Now, this is an example of a headshot, but instead of it being vertical, we now do headshots horizontal as well. Again, top of the head, middle of the chest, angles, she's looking at you. You get an idea of who this person is just from this photo. So when performing a headshot session, it's gonna take you guiding your subject a lot. A lot of these people, this is their first time in front of a camera. this might be the only time they're in front of a camera professionally. Of course, everyone takes photos of themselves, take your photos, a phone, something that's more relaxing. There's nothing more unnerving or more stressful than having someone point a piece of equipment like this directly in your face. It's gonna make them nervous regardless of what they say. So you gotta kind of put them at ease. You have to direct them because they'll know if they can listen to you direct them, that's one less thing they gotta worry about, and it'll help them relax. Now, my first thing I always do is I start off by saying, if they were taking a selfie, what side would they put their phone on? A lot of people have a favorite side that they don't really know consciously, but subconsciously they do. The second that they put their phone up and they do this, they realize, oh, okay, I think I like this side of my face more. Then for that, I want all of your shots to have this side facing towards the camera more. For one, it's going to make them feel more confident because they know that that's their best side. Now, you are going to get some people that say, I don't have a best side. I think both looks great. Now, in those cases, you have to look at what kind of hairstyle they have. If they have a haircut like mine, doesn't matter. Shoot either side is fine. However, if it is someone who has long flowing hair, if their hair is cascade down onto one side, then you're going to shoot the other side. Because they themselves might even know they have subconsciously a better side. You wouldn't cover your best side. Across the screen, I'm going to show you all of the standard poses for both men and for women when taking headshots. You can download all of these from the link below. It's just something so that you can have like a reference guide when doing your headshots. It's really easy just to have them on your phone, and in the middle of a headshot, you can go swiping one by one, knocking them off your checklist. That way, you'll have a multitude of poses for them to choose from, and they'll have to like one of them. So your first 5 shots should be test shots with your subject. That way you can figure out how to best take a photo of them. You're looking to see, one, if you count down from 3, if they're going to start blinking more when you get 0, or if maybe you should count down from 3, but on 2, take the photo. For 2, you're going to need to know whether or not they even like how they look directly in the camera. A lot of people are self-conscious of themselves, and regardless of how great the photo looks, they're going to say, I don't look good in this image. Now, a lot of the time it's just because they don't feel good about themselves, and there's nothing that we can do about that. All we can do is take the truest image of them and make it look as great as possible. And then the other test shots are, of course, just so that you can adjust the light. When taking a test shot, if you say, hey, I'm taking a test shot so I can adjust the lights, you take a shot, then you adjust something, the customer 9 times out of 10 is going to, again, just going to feel more comfortable feeling like you know what you're doing, because you're making sure everything is perfect for them so that they can relax, because their life is in your hands. All right, so welcome to the advanced part of this course. So now we're going to be talking about a couple of things that we could not talk about on the standard session. Now, this is more for the people that have been in the game for a lot longer and who want to really niche down and make this their real bread and butter and make sure that this is all that they do so they can keep making money from this and not have to do anything else. So the first question you're going to have to ask yourself is, who is your client? You need to figure out what kind of people need headshots, especially in your own area. Depending on if you're in a city, if you're in a county, or if you're in a small town, you need to figure out where your clients are, where they shop at, what attracts them. That's going to be how you have repeating customers, whether or not they're repeating once a year or they're repeating twice a year. Most people who are getting headshots only get one once a year to once every 3 years, but some people either get them either once every year or twice a year because of how much they're changing. Once you figure out who your clients are, that helps you best figure out how to advertise to them. Some people like seeing a physical flyer in their hands that they can take. They'll take it, put it somewhere, that way whenever they're ready, all they do is pull it out, look at it, and go to your website or go to your Instagram and lock in a date from there. Some people like it when they're scrolling on social media and it pops up and it reminds them that there's something that they need. Now that's the kind of person where all you have to do is see it once, click on it, and then they got you locked in. And some people need to be referred to you by someone that has already had a headshot session by you. Now, those customers are the best because they're already coming to you confidently in your services and in your strengths. So the best way to sell more photos and more prints and your headshots is if you start shooting tethered. Tethered is simply having a cord connected to your camera and then connected to your computer or your laptop. That way, every time you take an image, it pops up on their end. This is really important because if the shoot is going amazing, the more they see themselves, the more photos they're going to want. I myself, I start off with 7 photos in the package, and if you want to add each additional photo, it will be about $25 additional per photo. There have been times where someone's booked a regular session, and then they've ended up overpaying about $150 to $200 more because they kept seeing so many images that they wanted, but they knew they only got 7. The more that they see that they love, the more that they'll end up spending. And that goes double for prints. Whenever someone walks into the studio, when they look around, the first thing they see is all the professionally printed photos that I've taken of other clients. That way, they think, I could be that. I think I want that. A lot of people wouldn't mind having a professional looking headshot of themselves in their own office. Some people might even want to go a step further and book a different session with you because of that print. Your best starting camera settings in studio is going to be f5, shutter speed 1/150, ISO 100 or as low as you can get it. Some cameras can go down to 50, some start at 100. From there, I would recommend raising up your ISO or your f-stop, but leaving your shutter speed where it's at. Simply because the further up shutter speed you go, the more likely you'll get that black bar, which is your flash and your strobe is outpacing your shutter speed. For when you're outside, it's going to be a little bit different. Shutter speed is going to be 1/200. Your ISO is going to definitely be about 200. And then your f-stop should be about 2.8 to 3.5. Because now that we're outside, we can involve a whole lot of depth of field. Now that there's nothing flat in the background for the headshot, but as actually things back there, you want to kind of bring that into the picture, but crush it all the same. You want it as blurry as possible to give that nice little bouquet area look, but you want your client completely in focus. How to build a professionally looking portfolio so that you can gain more clients? The simplest thing is you're going to have to shoot for free. You're going to have to reach out to a lot of your friends or your family that is in the age group that you want to really target. Like, there are different age groups for different areas that you're targeting, whether you're going after actors, whether you're going after CEOs, businessmen, businesswomen. You need to know what your demographic looks like, and then you need to capture images of people that look just like them. Now, these are just shoots that you're going to have to give away for free and or give away in exchange for something, right? You never really want to give it away for free, because then that person devalues you and may not recommend your services. However, if you're giving it to them for something else, whether it's an exchange of services, whether it's a gift that you can say is given to them by someone else, it doesn't matter. That you have to try to make sure that whatever you're giving to someone else, they don't tag the word free attached to it, because mentally they no longer value what it is. Once you have enough consistent looking amazing photos, then your portfolio looks great to someone that might just want to book you that has never met you. Once your portfolio looks good, you're more likely to have more people coming and booking you. So one of the advanced lighting techniques that we use for outdoor headshots is we try to make the sun work for us as much as possible. So it's much like when you're including flash into portraits, you have to adjust for the background first and then adjust the power of the flash hitting your subject. First, we have the subject sitting with the sun directly behind them. That's going to fill all of the background image as well as the back and a headlight. It's even going to give them a little halo figurine around them. Then you use your main light directly at your subject, as strong as you need to be so that they're no longer in the darkness. You bring them to light. Congratulations, you've made it to the end of our headshot course. This is mainly so that you can get your foot in the door and you can continue your business. If there's anything that we did not go over that you'd like to know more about, send us an email, comment on this video, let us know. We'd love to incorporate it into the next video as well as send you your answer. That way you're happy and the next future client's also happy. Have a nice day.